yung guide, course guide, hanggang sa mga TMA or FMA guides, and then yung main material nandito din, and then yung lahat lahat ng resources na binigay, and then lahat ng assignments na ginawa ko nandito din, nakabook pa din siya dito kasi so ganito ang ang asynchronous learning sa University of the Philippines, Open University. Okay, anyway. Nasa na ako. Ito ay it's about four-prong guidelines in designing a four-prong approach in beginning reading literacy. Anyway, nasa na ako, page second to the last na. Anyway, just a glimpse lang po. Okay, so ganito talaga mag-aral. Ako, nag-read aloud ako kasi mas napaprocess siya ng brain ko. Kailangan yung conducive to learning. So, para sa akin, conducive to learning is subjective actually. So, in my case, pwedeng yung conducive to learning sa iba is maingay yung environment. Ganon. Sa akin kasi is medyo, hindi ganun ka-quiet, pero dapat yung maaliwalas yung ilaw para parang hindi siya gloomy kasi it will affect actually my cognitive skills, saka psychologically parang ganun sa akin eh. And then, maingay yung aircon ko eh. So, parang napapansin ko pag naka-on yung aircon, dapat siguro na-on ko na yung aircon siguro a few minutes, tapos patayin ko na siya para, syempre, hindi mainit yung environment. And then, patayin ko na siya kasi medyo maingay siya. So, medyo nakaka-distract siya yung sound niya actually. So, from time to time, meron mga interpierced activity. Like, I feel hungry, then kakain ako. Or, I feel something, then I have to do it first. Then, balik ako ulit. So, kailangan spontaneous ka. Tapos, kailangan consistent ka. And kailangan, anong tawag doon? Inconsistency is that when you're reading, kung halimbawa nag-end ka doon sa point then when it's interferes by any activity that you wanted to, kasi kailangan by nature, when you're a learner, then balikan mo kung saan ka, kung you got lost, if you got lost of your thought, nawala ka na, then sadly, you have to go back to zero. For me, that's consistency, alright? Parang nanood ka ng series, di ba? Pag may napansin kang, let's say, sa isang episode, yung character parang, pinuportray ng character sa second episode is the same character actually, pero parang iba na yung character kasi pala, pinalitan yung actor. So, wala nang inconsistency doon, di ba? So, parang ganito din sa learning. Like, if you know the series The Crown, nakailang palit sila ng Queen Elizabeth. Na, alam mo yun, although, the writers resorted to telling the story in such a way na, siyempre, ang tao dadaan ng stages, di ba? So, mag-iiba ang looks, di ba? So, hindi man lang to the point na parang mag-iiba ang looks na parang totally different on the next stage of growth development, di ba? So, siguro naman when you were kids, may mga features sa'yo na parang they just evolved. Hindi yung parang, bigla ka lang nag-mutate, nag-iba yung mukha. Manood ka ng The Crown, di ba maintindihan ko ng sinasabi ko. Yung, ewan ko, nakailang palit sila ng Queen Elizabeth. So, anyway, nakaka-distract ng understanding ng flow ng plot. And kasi iba na yung itsura ng Queen. Iba na yung itsura ng maraming character doon na iba. Tapos narinig ko the story behind is parang siguro namatay yung actor, or that the actor was terminated, or that basta nag-change na lang kasi hindi na available ang actor. So, they have to have another actor na parang similar yung look, pero hindi naman usually na-achieve. Anyway, balik tayo. Nawala na ako. Okay. Letter C na ako dito. Nandito na ako sa Sino, wala na ako sa inconsistency. Transfer stage na kasi ako and then sa fast group na ako. So may i-divide mo kasi sa transfer stage, i-divide mo yung students mo, yung class mo into three groups. Basic, sorry, yeah, basic, then average, then fast group. Then yung basic mag-undergo ng yung introduction, modeling, sorry, tama ba? Introduction, teaching, modeling, and then guided practice. While yung other groups will be doing the same seat work. So, seat work 1, seat work 1, yung parehong average at saka yung advanced or fast group. And then, syempre, on the next cycle, ang magsi-seat work na naman yung basic group. And then, yung mag-undergo ng introduction, modeling, teaching and modeling, and then guided practice, yung naman yung middle group, yung average. Then seat work 2 naman yung magsa-start na sa seat work 2 yung fast group. Then on the last round, dito na yung magsi-seat work 2, magsi-seat work 2 ang magsi-seat work 2 ang parehong basic group at saka yung average group, and then yung fast group naman is mag-undergo ng introduction, teaching, modeling, guided practice. Yun na. So, dito na ako sa C. Saan ba yan? Saan ako? Okay. Teaching, modeling na ako dun sa fast group. Okay. Teaching, modeling, new lesson. Actually, pabalik-balik lang yung instruction what to do it. Pero anyway, somehow it helps me understand better kasi parang paulit-ulit lang pala yung gagawin in each stage. Parang ganun. Okay, so teaching, modeling, new lesson. So this time, new lesson with teacher, of course. Use activities, tasks that are congruent to the objectives. Of course, dapat hindi ka lalayo sa objectives. Teach the beginning reading literacy skill correctly. Provide sufficient examples. Specify how the examples will be processed, example questions to be asked. Indicate what generalizations are and how the students will arrive at them if applicable. Show clearly how explicit teaching is going to be done. Do all that are applicable among the following. Explain the task to the students. Divide the task into a few basic steps. So directly tell them how many steps are involved. Present the steps both orally and visually to provide reinforcement. State the steps as clearly as possible. Demonstrate the task to the students. Tell the students that listening and observation are significant to their success in the task. Perform whatever is involved in the learning task in a manner you expect your students to do it. Follow the steps you have previously explained. Think aloud as you do each. Generalize what has been modeled. Use language that is appropriate to the students all the time, of course. Guided practice. So ito yung guided practice. New lesson with the teacher. Okay. Choose activities, tasks that are appropriate and interesting to the students, are congruent to the objectives, paulit-ulit lang, are appropriate to the target beginning reading literacy skill, are scaffolded as needed, and can be done by the students based on what has been taught, modeled by the teacher. Provide students with multiple opportunities for the practice of the newly learned skill until independence is attained. Begin with practicing together with the students, then proceed with having the students practice by themselves, with you as the teacher observing and assisting them when needed. Actually, ginagawa ko na lahat ng mga pinagsasabi dito. Use variety by groups, pairs, or individually. Games, dramatic play, and other interesting activities. So, imagine if you're a teacher and you're assigned, aside from teaching load, you're assigned with other tasks. You have another committee to do within the school or within the curriculum. So kasi ako I have a full teaching load equal with all other the teachers in our department, English section to be specific. But I'm also involved with the curriculum development. So imagine how can I do these things. So ang ginagawa ko is not necessarily multitask ako, but I make sure na I can do it within my teaching hours. Of course, hindi ko pwedeng gawin yan outside of my teaching hours. So what I do is that during the yung syempre during the guided practice nandun ka, pero those are the pero may mga works, may mga activities kasing gagawin ka na parang independent practice. So students they have to learn how to do it by themselves. Okay, ako in my case hindi exactly the same as this approach, kasi ito ay parang gagawin mo lang daw yung IP sa ano daw sa huli, pero ako kasi pwede mo kasi siyang gawin anytime actually if needed. Okay, so ako kasi you have to develop learning abilities sa mga students. So during the independent practice, so to be specific, I give my students worksheets to do. So I give them instructions that when I give the worksheets to them, sinasabi ko sa kanila, ito ay graded din. Actually, lahat ng pinapagawa ko sa inyo, lahat ng nangyayari sa classroom, sabi ko, lahat yun ay graded and they are all recorded as much as possible. Hindi ko sinasabing as much as possible. 100% everything done in the classroom are recorded and you are all graded. But yung pag-grade ay depende. So, let's say sa worksheet, sabi ko, medyo less yung weight kasi worksheet siya. Meaning, worksheets, you can actually work collaboratively with your classmates or with me if needed. So, sabi ko sa kanila, in-explain ko sa kanila, bakit ako nagbibigay ng worksheets? Okay? Kasi, unang-una, I want you to learn by yourselves. Okay? And then, you ask one another, help one another how to solve the worksheet. Okay? So, you ask your seatmate, pwede kang mag-ikot, pwede kayong mag-ingay, and then mag-share ng mga answers nyo kasi worksheets naman yan eh. Pero, I expect you to have a good results and they are actually graded, sabi ko ganun. But that's not considered cheating. You are helping one another in this case during the worksheet. And sabi ko sila, but during the assessments, sabi ko, hindi pwedeng mag-collaborate kayo. You have to do it by yourself, sabi ko sa kanya. And then, what happens during the IP is that, actually, gusto ko sila talagang independent sila totally, but not totally independent in the case of, Saudi learners, kasi masyado silang dependent sa teacher actually. So, somehow we are building them to become totally independent, pero you cannot get away with what they are accustomed to. So parang kultura na nila yun eh. So might as well you assimilate to their culture because that's what you do. So it's really true that when you're teaching English as a second language or any foreign language for that matter, is that kasama talaga ang culture, political aspect, So I agree with Tupas actually on that matter. So yung mga students ko, nasa desk na ako, di ba? Kasi syempre, I'm giving them independent practice, that they have to do it by themselves. So, kailangan talaga as a teacher, talagang yung pandinig mo is matalas and hindi ka lang selective sa naririnig mo, kundi you really have to listen to everything, every noise that's inside your classroom. So, as I'm giving them the independent practice, paminsan-minsan or madalas, so hindi naman siguro mga 25%, what happens is that mga students ko is they will approach me or they will shout at me. They will ask me questions. Teacher, di ba ano to? So, it's okay actually. So, I also interact with them in that manner kasi they are still, of course, dependent to you. Kasi ikaw yung more knowledgeable, di ba? Siyempre. So, in that case, they are just affirming, they're just trying to concretize, Yeah, and I actually like that point kasi you're helping them out in that way. So, hindi ko maintindihan sa ibang teacher, pag nagpagawa na ng worksheet, kahit na sila, ayaw na nilang magsalita, ayaw na nilang mag-impart ng knowledge. As long as you are there, wherever it is actually, even outside the classroom for that matter, teacher ka eh. Your role is to impart knowledge. Your role is a teacher. Di ba? So, I don't understand doon sa mga teacher na parang, hello, nakabakod eh. Nakabox lahat ng mga roles nila na hindi sila pwedeng lumabas doon sa box when needed. Hindi ganoon. Kasi after what we are after is the learning of your students, di ba? Okay, so ako natutuwa ako dun eh sa pag they learn eh. So no matter what, you have to be patient. You have to be, I don't know, flexible. Kailangan Superman ka as a teacher. Kailangan hindi ka mapagod. Kailangan hindi ka magkasakit. Pero nagkasakit ka. Kasakit na naman ako. Twice na yata to. I mean, nagmamina yata yung immune system. So, sign of aging. Okay, kasi hindi na kasi ako masyado nakapag-exercise. Although I still could do exercises but not as long as before. But I'm planning to go back to my routine anyway. Very, very soon. Anyway, may nire-resolve lang ako. Anyway, so yun na nga yun. So yun. Okay, get you yung point ko. Let me continue. Sana ako? Last page na ako pala. Ay, tapos na. Okay, tapos na siya. Ayun, so medyo naintindihan ko na yung 4-prong, the guidelines. So, chinek ko yung guidelines. So, what I am, may naisip ako eh. Kasi ginagawa ko na to before when I had my master's degree. Even with my PTC, Professional Teaching Certification sa UP. I also did this one actually. I collected all the materials. Sinave ko yan siya. I have an e-copy. I even have them all printed out. Okay, so may print out talaga ako lahat. And then, naka-book bind yan per course. Naka-book bind yan per course. So, yung iba pa nga nandito pa eh, pero halos lahat na nasa Pinas ko na inuwi ko na. So, ginawa ko yan sa PTC ko. Ginawa ko sa master's degree ko sa Development Communication. I also did that to my Doctor of Communication. And I'm gonna do it with my itong LE, Language and Literacy Education ko. So, yun din ang gagawin ko. So, but with a twist this time. So, I'll be using publishing, okay, to book bind all the courses. So hindi to for sale. So, para for personal use ko lang. So, I still want it to be published, by the way, and with the ISBN. So, hindi siya for sale anyway in this matter. So, I'm a book writer, book author, but I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna have it for sale because bawal to eh. Kasi I'm just, ang gagawin ko lang is i-collect ko lang into one yung lahat ng aking materials, lahat ng mga ginawa ko per subject. Katulad ng ginawa, pakita ko sa inyo. Pati pala sa aking educational management sa PWU kasi nag-aral din ako sa PWU at the same time pero nahuli ako ng PWU anyway. So, for the meantime, stop ko muna siya. Pero pwede ko yatang balikan siya ulit. Anyway, so ito example. So, ito yung sa PWU. Halos PWU pala itong subject na nandito. Ay, hindi. Meron akong master's degree. So, meron ako dito sa DEBC 207 ko. Ayan, nakampile ko siya. Napabukbay ko siya. So, DEBC 207, Design and Production of Audiovisual Development Communication Materials. So, nandito lahat. So, simula sa guidelines, yung course guide, hanggang sa mga TMA or FMA guides, and then yung main material nandito din, and then yung lahat lahat ng resources na binigay, and then lahat ng assignments na ginawa ko nandito din, naka-bookbind din siya dito, kasama siya sa bookbinding ko. And then, ganun ako ka-organize. So, actually, isa yun sa sekreto para ma-process talaga ng lahat ng brain mo. So, through this, parang it helped out actually. So, kung makita mo dito actually, Ayun, oh. So, sa pinaka-last na part, yun yung mga TMA ko. Ayan, so, nandito siya. Manipis lang yung Devs C207 actually. Pero may mga subjects talaga na sobrang daming babasahin. My God, so sobrang kapal din ang collection ko, like katulad nito. Oh, di ba? This is sa PTC ko to ha. Take note, sa Professional Teaching Certification lang to. At sobrang kapal. At saka tong yung LLE 203 ko, Trends in Reading and Literacy Instruction. Yung teacher addict din, yung professor addict. Maya maglalagay siya ng ang daming resources. Basa na naman ako. My God, matatambakan na, di ba? Tapos may assignment ka pang i-meet. May deadline na i-meet. Ayan, so ayan, yung mga sample ng bind ko na hindi ko pa nauwi sa Pilipinas. So, ang bala ko dito, medyo may pagka-OCD kasi ako. So, katulad ng may napansin kasi ako, napapansin ko siya every time anyway. Yung mga main material namin, main resources namin in every course, syempre, it's an indication talaga na we are just human beings. May mga mali marami akong mali nakikita sa main book. Even sa lahat ng resources, may nakikita at may nakikita ka. So, di ba? So bilang book author, hindi talaga siya basta-basta kasi kaya meron talaga akong editor, physical editor, aside from the editing apps that I have that I paid premium. I have 3 of them actually. So after I make my manuscript go through those apps, pinapacheck ko din sa colleague ko actually, na physical editor talaga para makita talaga. And then meron pa rin talaga nakikita siya actually. And then pero minimal na lang siya. So imagine pag hindi siya if your book did not go through those processes, ang daming mali. Yung first, medyo nahiya ako din sa first publication ng first 2 books ko yata. Na-realize ko, may kopya yata ako sa Pilipinas nun eh. Ang daming mali. Nakakaya. Pero pinull out ko na siya sa, syempre, sa publishing house. But mayroon na siyang recent version. Pero it was still, kasi kakatapos ko lang na pinadaan yung isang book ko, yung latest book ko na Universal English Intensive. Kakatapos lang ng editor na natapos. So, totally tapos na siya. And then, actually, naipasa ko na yung manuscript sa publishing. So, available na siya actually online again. But, it's still not available for global distribution. Soon, very soon. But, pwede na siyang bilhin through a link, through Lulu Publishing, by the way. Anyway, yun. So, hindi siya easy. So, that's it, guys. And that's how I'm just sharing my my LLE journey, or my journey in general as a distance learner. Okay, so technically I'm a distance learner, so we call it distance learning actually in UP. So it's our mode of learning and teaching. Our mode of learning, kasi ako ay student, mode of learning is ODEL, open distance learning, distance e-learning, parang ganun. And then it's totally asynchronous. Okay, it's totally asynchronous. So walang live na nangyayari, yung pupunta ka sa Zoom, walang ganun. So mostly you have to go to the Moodle board. So yung parang e-classroom nyo, pupunta kayo doon. Then you have to access all the resources that you have there, read them, and do all the assignments or quizzes and everything that is asked of you, forums like that, for that matter. But it has a certain deadline that you have to meet, so that when you don't meet the deadline, sometimes you will miss it out, and you will be penalized for that, or totally it will be a missed point on your part. So ganun. Ganun talaga. So, ang galing, pag you are a UP learner, actually hindi siya basta-basta, but I always encourage my kababayans na parang they actually think na since it's UP, so it's parang lang sa mga matatalino or yeah. But I do believe na lahat naman tayo matalino eh. So if you're given the how do I say, yung kailangang malaman para you get in, para maging scholar ng bayan, pwede naman. May mga natulungan din ako na at first parang they failed the exams thrice yata, until I helped them how to do it, then nakapasok, and in fact nakagraduate na sila. So ganun. So I encourage actually my OFW friends, may mga kababayan na you can actually do it if you know the way. Actually, so if you want to know the way, you can actually how do you do? Maybe you can comment, or if you know my social media accounts, you can actually message me. I'm very open to it actually. Actually, nakalagay naman sa YouTube channel ko yung WhatsApp account ko, so you can actually message me out through WhatsApp like that and ask questions about how to. I'm willing to help, free of charge, by the way. Anyway, okay, that's it, guys. Thank you very much.